Hey y'all, so I've had a couple requests for a front yard tour, so while things are still looking pretty good, I thought that I would jump out here and get this done. We've had about 7 or 8 inches of rain in the last couple weeks, so everything is really looking good. Everything's putting on some new growth. The boxwoods that I pruned not too long ago are looking really good. And so before we start getting into the low temps, I thought that I would show what the front looks like in its current state. I will have some new videos coming out here pretty soon. I have seven flats of pansies. I have about 750 tulips and about 50 allium that I need to get in the ground this week. I was going to do that today, but we have Alex and his crew coming over to do some sprinkler work. So for those of you that have followed on for a while now, you'll know that we didn't revamp the sprinkler system in the front. We only completely redid the sprinkler system in the back. And after allowing some plants up here to mature, we've realized that we have some really dry spots. We realize we have some areas that need better coverage. And so we are going to switch out some of that 4 and 6 inch heads to the 12-inch heads. So they're gonna have to do some digging up here. And so I don't wanna put the pansies or the allium and the tulips in the ground until they're done doing that. While the bulbs shouldn't be affected because they'll be about 6 inches deep, I don't want the pansies to get trampled, and they're going to have to do a little bit of digging to put those 12-inch heads in the ground. So I didn't want the 12-inch risers that stay up. I wanted the retractable ones so that they will go down, because I just personally don't like the look of those risers. And so in order to do that, they're going to have to dig. So knowing that, I just decided that I would go ahead and wait until they were done. But I keep forgetting to count the sprinkler heads, and Alex keeps texting me. And so I am about to do that after I film this video so that I can give him that information so he can get that done, and then we can get started. But that being said, I'll show you kind of some of the places that we're going to add some sprinkler heads, because there's some places that, like I said, just don't get good coverage at all. And yeah, I just kind of show you the plants that we have up here. Had some requests for the names of the plants. So why don't I just flip my camera around and we'll get started. Okay, so right here, basically from this Artemisia, this silver color, down to this boulder right here, I've been really unhappy with this since we redid this landscape in its entirety up here. This area right here it stays really dry, and it's because we have a rotor head right here. So our turf is artificial, and if we had real grass, this would be a lot more important, and it still is, because obviously the water gets the tree roots that are underneath this artificial turf. But we really need one right in here. So we're gonna look at adding one there, which shouldn't be too big of a deal because we have one just right up the way a little bit, but it just doesn't get any coverage right in here. And you can see that even the Russian sage, these two plants right here, they're struggling, and they've struggled all season. And that's saying something for Russian sage, because that's a pretty drought tolerant plant. Because of the issues, I know no sprinkler system is foolproof. You have to get out here and water, and I water a lot when it's hot. I hand water a ton. But it was just like I couldn't even hand water enough. I was having to come out here every day or set up my accessory sprinkler every single day to keep things damp, and it was just getting to be a lot. So you can see here that I have lost 2 Helen von Stein lamb's ear over the summer. This one here obviously is one of the original ones, but even this got really dry down here, and it's a Helen von Stein lamb's ear is a pretty tough plant for us. So we'll allow these new ones to fill in over time, which will be pretty quick. Helen von Stein lamb's ear is one that's really easy to divide, and I do need some of this in the back. So once these get established here, I'll probably split some of the larger ones that I had that made it through the summer for some free plants for the back. This is an area here, like I said, even the Powys Castle Artemisia, which is this bluish silver plant right here, it struggled, and it's really drought tolerant as well. This area, again, the same. It's just it's a hard area. I have some birthday party sedum here, these 2 plants that are doing pretty well, but you know, sedum's pretty drought tolerant. So I have some repeats of this stuff, and I'll show you in areas that look a little bit better than this over here. You can see all of the new growth on the boxwoods that were hedged up. Someone asked me in a previous video, when do you know it's time to trim your boxwoods? I would say when you're getting consistently, you know, into the mid 70s, maybe a little bit low 80s on a consistent basis, but you're not getting below freezing. I do spray wilt stop on all of my boxwoods after I prune them, and it helps to retain moisture, and it helps them out just a little bit extra if you want to get them pruned up. Maybe if it's not exactly the perfect time, because we all know that there's never a perfect time. It seems like our lives are busy, our schedules are busy. Sometimes you just got to get things done when you can. Over here, so our Christmas lights just came on. Here are the pansies. There are 7 flats of pansies there. I went white with purple face. This is the birthday party sedum here that I have in front. I'll show you some Mr. Goodbud that I have down closer to the street. This is an awesome sedum. I really love it. It's more of a lime green leaf, and it's more of a border plant. It stays a little bit smaller. It stays a little bit more compact than the Mr. Goodbud. Some of the new boxwoods that I've planted doing really well. The little lime hydrangeas here, really love those. Those have performed really well. I have some silver lining artemisia here. Really love this plant. Had it in the window box and moved it out to the landscape, and need probably a couple more to pop in here in this area to kind of even it out, because there's one also you can kind of see it peeking through on the back side of that boxwood. But this is an area that I'll be working on in the spring and really starting to fill this area in. This right here is an area that struggles with water as well. You can see, so this is Nemorosa Rose Marvel Salvia right here, and this is also Nemorosa Rose Marvel Salvia, and you can see how much better this is doing. In fact, you can see how much better most of this is doing over here, and that's all due to water. The gamma grass back here does way better than it does over here as well. So what we're gonna do here for the sprinkler, this portion of the sprinkler, is we need to put one right here that sprays this direction, because there's only one, and I think it's like back here, and it sprays in this direction. So we kind of need one right here. And then this is foresight or oversight on our part. When we redid the front landscape, there is a sprinkler head that is under this stone that we didn't catch, and somehow I made it through the entire summer without realizing that we should have another sprinkler head over here. So we'll be moving this sprinkler head closer to this direction so that it covers everything over there. And these are just all of our landscape lighting that we use for Halloween and Christmas. So like the house for Halloween was lit up purple and orange. And then for Christmas, we just do, you can see here, basic classic white lights. And then we will shine these lights up on the house, probably red. We typically do red and green. You can alternate them. I kind of like it to be all one color, and then let the lights on the house be the other color. Some penstemon over here. This is also penstemon. This is Midnight Masquerade. I did lose one here, so I'll have to get a replacement for that. Everything else did really well, just lost that one. I'm not really sure why. Couple new boxwoods that were planted. There's lots of repeats over here. So like the Post Castle Artemisia, the little lime hydrangea, the Mexican feathergrass is over here. Have a lot of Mexican feathergrass kind of sprinkled throughout here. This is, and I'll show you over here in a little bit different area, but this right here is Whisper Pink Catmint. I really like it. It has a pink bloom, not the traditional purple. Most of the stuff that I have up here is like more of a shade of purple than pink in my opinion, so I think that softer pink of the Whisper Pink Catmint goes a little bit better up here. The Nemorosa Rose Marvel, really like that salvia a lot. I have it spread throughout here and over here. It really goes for it. The pollinators love it. My bees are always up here, and so it's a really good one if you're looking for a pinkish type salvia. In this area, I gave Mr. Goodbud sedum way too much credit. I thought that it would fill in here. It stays pretty damp right there, and so I think that was a factor for the Mr. Goodbud sedum. But I will be thinking about what I want to put here in the springtime. Again, more repeats of Helen von Stein lamb's ear, Nemorosa Rose Marvel back there. Have some Russian sage peeking up here. And while I'm not sure that I love how the Russian sage looks with everything else up here just kind of peeking through, the pollinators really love it, and that's a big reason why I've kept it up here. We had it at our previous house, and you just can't keep the pollinators off of it. So here, which is going to be a little bit hard to see, I have some purple Illusion Veronica. It's kind of fizzled out. It's kind of pretty much done its thing, but you can see right there some of that deep purple color. I really like this plant. I'll be planting more of it come springtime. Some Silver Mound Artemisia right here. If you can't tell, I'm a really big Artemisia fan. The little dwarf bunny grass that I kind of struggled with over this last winter that I replaced is doing really well. I think it gives a really nice texture. I wish all of the boxwoods had this like really bright green new growth on it, but these are two different types of boxwoods, and when I transplanted a lot of these boxwoods, I wanted to keep types with types, but some of the sizing didn't work, and so I think this is like a green velvet or a mountain green or something, I'm not really sure, and it just doesn't push new growth near as quick, but it will. It's working on it in some small places. It's just not as vibrant as these. Again, some of the bigger boxwoods are pushing a lot of new growth. This is an area where I lost another Helen von Stein. Have some Mexican feathergrass here. This stays really hot over here. This gets a lot of afternoon sun, and it stays fairly dry, as you can see by this boxwood over here, which at some point this summer got really dry, but I think it'll be okay. I think I caught it in enough time. I'll prune out the dead and give it a shot in the springtime and see what new growth it pushes. I have a lot of reworking to do over here. So there's some self-seeding daisies that come up everywhere. You can kind of see the white here. And I don't know if I like those or not. I let them do their thing this summer, but I'm not sure that I love them. But I do have a lot of Mr. Goodbud sedum right here. Let me see if I can get a good image of the Mr. Goodbud. Right here is Mr. Goodbud, and I really like that sedum there, but it just hasn't really impressed me throughout the landscape up here, but maybe it just needs to get established, and then maybe it will take off. We will see. I'd never grown Mr. Goodbud before, but I liked the growth habit. Like I said, it's a little bit of a larger sedum than the Mr. Goodbud. It's not so much of a border plant. It's more of a filler plant, if you will. Here is a better view of the Whisper Pink. Let me zoom in really quick. So you can see how it has light pink blooms on it versus the traditional purple that you normally see in catmint. Here is the Nemorosa Rose Salvia. Again, great salvia. It's one of my favorites. But overall, I think things are doing pretty well. We've lost some of that summer color that we had with a lot of the salvia going crazy and the sedum going crazy, and the pentas were going crazy at one point, and they're just kind of fizzled out of their prime. But overall, very happy with it up here. Still waiting for some things to fill in, but sometimes you just got to be patient, and that's kind of the hard part of gardening. So that is all that I have for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I would appreciate it so much if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.